Hi! So I've been wanting to do a Q&A for quite a while. I asked on Twitter, didn't get any questions. I had to keep asking and asking and asking. And eventually I got a question and another one and another one, and I thought, yes, I've got enough for a video. This is my first ever Q&A. How long before people really started reading your blog? The thing is, when you start blogging, it's best to just get a few posts out there and then start promoting it. I just kept posting and posting, and then I thought I'd leave a few comments, and then sometimes I'd get the odd comment back. So it probably took about 3 months to start getting a few regular commenters. It takes time. Every day I had someone from Germany visiting it, and I'm like, who is this person? So I think I had like 30 people, like 30 followers maybe in the first 6 months, and I was so happy with that. Any tips on getting your content out there / advertising? I think it's best not to really spam people. I like a personal approach. Build up a relationship over time, maybe over Twitter, on Instagram, maybe keep commenting on people's photos and leaving comments on people's blogs, and eventually the right people will come, because I think people are so caught up on numbers. And I think you just need quality over quantity. You want people who want to read you for you. If you have a blog, just make sure you're on Blog Loving. They've changed the algorithm, so it's a lot easier to search for blogs and discover new people. I would also pay attention to SEO, so that's search engine optimization. So make sure you're naming your images so that if someone types in all Achilles shoes into Google, hopefully your image of all Achilles shoes will come up. You never know, that person might want to discover a new blog that day. I think the main thing is that there's no rush. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just write the kind of blog that you want to read, and the right people will come eventually. How do you build a community online? Now, I'm a bit of a dinosaur in terms of blogging. So back in the day, there were a few of us and we kind of all stuck together. You'd see the same people at events, and it was quite easy. You'd just start talking to people and you'd see them again and again, and then eventually some of you would become friends. So that's how I kind of got into my little blogging community. I think if you're a new blogger, see if there's any events in your area. I know that not everyone is London based or even UK based. Maybe join some of the Twitter chats, or just find people who are tweeting about things you're interested about, whether it's just fashion or lifestyle, maybe it's politics, feminism. It's great how the internet and social media has allowed us all to connect with each other. So just find the right people, maybe retweet, favourite a few things, get in conversation. I think the best thing is don't force it. Like with any friendship, don't force it. Just see who you naturally gravitate towards. Do you have any advice or tips on how to write good feature articles? Now, I think just write about things that are personal to you maybe, or things that resonate with you, because they're the easiest things to talk about. Sometimes when I talk about my issues, those posts can really generate a lot of engagement, and I think those posts do quite well, and I'm like, I need to write another one, but sometimes I just don't have any issues, so it's a bit tricky. What are your opinions on consistent posting? If you're gonna write once a day, do it. If you're gonna write once a week, do it, just stick to it. Sometimes I've occasionally switched around my schedule. Sometimes I've not prepared myself very well and I've missed a post. I always feel gutted, but then no one else really, I don't think anyone picks up on it. I think it's best to be as consistent as possible, but sometimes life does get in the way, and you just have to, allow for that. I like to post at certain times, maybe on a Sunday, so in the afternoon I think people are sitting down, they've had their dinner, maybe they're waiting to watch X Factor, and they might want to read my blog. So yeah, I like to get in my Sunday afternoon post, but then sometimes it'll work in the morning, sometimes it's good to switch things up and see what works best, and you can check your analytics and see when people are visiting. How did you find your blogging niche, and what is it? My blogging niche is a bit of a weird one. So I started blogging when I was studying fashion knitwear design. So I would literally just write about anything that was inspiring me, things that were happening at uni. I just kept it quite personal, and that became my niche. I was the crazy knitwear loving fashion blogger. Eventually I got a bit more confident, I started posting outfit pictures, and I really started to develop and shape my style into what it is today. So it's a bit eclectic and, picking and choosing the best of everything. Some people are just beauty bloggers and that is it. Some people are lifestyle bloggers, some people are just travel bloggers, but I do a bit of everything because I'm a multifaceted person. I like to travel, I like to eat, I like to wear things, obviously. I like to put things on my face, and I will talk about them as long as I can convey it in a creative and visually inspiring way. I'm not going to show you a completely rose-tinted view of my life. I want to remind people that it's okay not to be completely perfect. I'm not one of these bloggers who's, model-esque. I have a belly. Sometimes I have to cover it up. which is fine. That is my niche. Does that make any sense? I think the best thing about blogging is that you can just be yourself. It does celebrate the individual. What makes you you? What makes you special? Just get that on your blog. What is the most embarrassing post that you wrote? I don't really have anything embarrassing that I've written per se, but I definitely got some embarrassing outfits. I'm wearing like a barber style jacket. I have a polka dot skirt and then crazy zigzag tights and maybe like brogues. I think I just wanted to wear all of these things at once. I went to the bank and someone gave me a weird look, but I was just like, and what? And what? My motto is, if you have conviction, you can wear anything. I think on the surface I had conviction, but now I'm like, what are you thinking? But nothing is really a mistake. I think you have to go through all these crazy fashion nightmares to get to your true style. Now I'm a bit more considered in a way, and I wouldn't have to wear all of those things at once. What made you start a YouTube channel? The reason I started YouTube is because I just wanted to get another side to my personality out there. Video is a very easy medium to watch. You know, you can put it on. I mean, I do it. I put YouTube videos on and I might be tidying my room. I think I just wanted to show all the different areas of my life. You get to see my family, you get to see what I'm doing day to day on my vlogs, and I wanted to talk about other things that just weren't fashion. I might do another video that's called Why Am I Single? I don't know, I'm still debating whether to do that, but I think it's interesting to talk about these things and start a bit of a discussion. What advice would you give to a new blogger starting out? So in one way, if you're starting out now, you have so much information at your disposal. There's so many guides, you can buy your domain, you can get a perfect camera, perfect layout, and yeah, there's a lot of advice out there, but then you get a bit caught up. Why don't I have all these followers? Why am I not making all this money? Think about what you really want from your blog. Do you want it to be a career? If you want it to be a career, you have to offer something different. You have to stand out. If you want to have it as a little bit of an outlet, then that's fine as well. Maybe you're working a really stressful job and you want to just post pictures of puppies, like that's fine, you can do that. Manage your expectations. Got like my whole 20s documented on the internet. I can see all of the crazy things I was wearing, what I was doing. You know, I interned in New York, and it's great to look back on that and read it. And I think that's the best thing about blogging. Any things that you wish you knew when you started blogging that you know now. A lot of these things are practical things, because I don't know if I would have wanted someone to tell me like, you're gonna do this full time, you're gonna be traveling, you're gonna meet all these people. I think it's best not to be too knowing. So a lot of my practical things are like buying a domain name, maybe starting out on WordPress, buying the 50mm lens instead of the kit lens. Don't call yourself Fashionista. I didn't want to use my real name. Now it seems completely random. Who was the first blogger you ever met? I went to a Joy event, so I got there. My friend was meant to come with me, but she was lost. She hadn't brought her phone. So yeah, I was like, I've got no one to go to this event with. It was my first ever blogger event and I was freaking out. But I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go and see what happens. So I got there and there's a room full of bloggers. I have no idea who they are, or what. Some of them I was reading their blogs, but obviously they didn't know who I was. I just went up to this, you know, these two bloggers called Rena and Ozzy, and I was like, hi. I think I just overcompensate if I'm nervous. Yeah, they were really friendly and we ended up chatting for the whole evening, and it was a great event. What's been your favourite part or moment about blogging over the past 6 years? I don't know, it's really hard. It's really hard to narrow it down. The Pandora trip, which was in one of my previous vlogs, where I got to stay in this amazing tree house, which was so surreal. I had my own hot tub. Like that is crazy, getting to stay in these places that you wouldn't even be able to afford in your everyday life. Although I've had some great experiences, trips, events, you name it, I think the best thing is probably the people that I've met. It can be so hard to meet people after uni. London is such a big place and no one talks to anyone. Through blogging, I've met people who work in so many different industries, and they're not necessarily fashion or, you know, journalism related industries. I've met people who are doctors, accountants. It's just been a great way to connect with people quite organically. My housemate is a blogger, a lot of my close friends are now bloggers, and I just think that's the best thing, having friends. Does the blogging industry celebrate diversity? I think it does and it doesn't. So it allows a lot of people who have been marginalised or excluded from magazines to have a voice. In terms of plus size bloggers, there are a lot of natural hair gurus on YouTube. There are a lot of people doing makeup for darker skin. And you don't necessarily get that in magazines. Like when I was growing up, it just didn't exist. And, you know, I didn't see people with natural afro hair in magazines when I was growing up. So I think that is one of the best things about blogging. It allows us to have a voice if we're part of a minority. If you look at the bloggers who are maybe getting campaigns, they're modelling, you know, the more you look like a traditional model, the more successful you can be. I think, you know, the more of us who are visible, you know, we can help bring about change. I hope that just by being myself, I'm showing that you don't have to conform to any kind of stereotype or be expected to act in a certain way or like certain things. What has been your biggest blogging challenge? I think it's definitely staying relevant. There are just so many bloggers now. It's an oversaturated market. By being a full-time blogger, well, slash freelancer, you do think about it a lot more. You can be comparing yourself a lot to people. You know, sometimes I'm like, why are these people getting Ubers all the time? Why can't I get an Uber all the time? It's important to just concentrate on what you're doing and be the best that you can be. Like, don't worry about what this other person's doing. Just focus on yourself. And I think that can relate to any industry. I think that's definitely the biggest challenge, like constantly motivating yourself. So this one's a bit of a mixed bag. So it's what I studied at uni, what my career is, and then what are my future aspirations. I studied fashion knitwear design at university. I always wanted to be a fashion designer. I think I was about 8 years old and I went to my aunt's workplace and I was just drawing models and I made up names for them. You know, at school they had a careers advisor and I said, right, I want to be a fashion designer. And she said, you've got to do an art foundation and you've got to do a degree in fashion design. So I did my art foundation. I realised that I was more drawn to the textile side of fashion. I was always knitting from about the age of maybe 13. I'd be knitting in the canteen and I kept that up and I thought, you know, I quite like creating the fabric. I chose to do fashion knitwear design. I know it sounds completely random, but it's actually quite a good niche to have because not everyone is as specialised as that. Now I've kind of gone down a bit more of a journalism slash social media route. And even though I've done a degree in knitwear, it definitely taught me discipline, research. It's obviously very creative, so that really helps when I'm, you know, doing my photography. I think there are a lot of transferable skills that a degree can give you. I do a lot of things. If someone asks me to write something, they want me to do a bit of social media, and then I can do blog collaborations with brands. What are my career goals? I think it's just making the most of this. I think we're pioneers of a new industry and I think I would definitely regret if I hadn't pursued this. Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really have very good long-term goals. I want to make the most out of YouTube and blogging. I think it's definitely given me a platform and I think that's why I kind of went down this career route. I like being visible and I think I can have more impact by being visible and not being hidden on a design team. And it's hard to know what all of this could lead to. 5 years ago, I didn't know I'd be doing this, so I'm very open-minded. Maybe it's bad not to have a plan, I don't know. How do you make a living from blogging? The main streams of income are brand collaborations, affiliate linking, advertising, and freelance work. The thing is, I tend to choose brands that I will have a connection with or that allow me to tell a bit of a story. So maybe it's a beauty brand and it's allowed me to try something out that I've not been previously confident about. You know, I'm quite happy to do that and to like challenge myself in some ways. You know, I want it to be life-changing. I wouldn't want to ever feel ashamed of posting something or uncomfortable about posting something. So it has to be something that fits within my values. What are the challenges of being self-employed? I think the main thing is motivation, organisation. You have to get up and have a list and know what you're doing and you manage your own time. So it's important to get up and set a bit of a routine, make sure you get dressed as well. I know it's very tempting to just stay in bed and work from there, but it doesn't work in the long run and you're not always as productive. You've got no boss telling you what to do, you've kind of got to drive yourself forward. So if you want a promotion, you have to just get more work and you have to be networking and constantly putting yourself out there. And that's not really for everyone. The challenges are people not paying you on time, not paying you at all. Some months may be quiet, some months you'll have too much work and you're trying to do it all because you feel like you can't say no. I think it's definitely been the making of me. How do you stay confident and chilled amongst people you don't know or aren't used to? Sometimes I'm not. You know, in the past I've been really awkward, I've been really bad at networking, but I think just kill them with kindness. There's nothing worse than someone being stuck up or really, I don't know, snooty, someone who just ignores you. I think just be friendly. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, sometimes I've spoken to someone and they've been really curt or they might have ignored me completely, but you just deal with it and you think, hopefully I won't have to see you again. Just treat others the way you wish to be treated. If you're in a group situation, Chat to people, look at someone, maybe someone's left out, chat to them. If you're in a networking situation and you don't know how to get in there, just say, oh, I like your dress. Oh, I like your skirt. I love your shoes. Because people love a compliment. People love talking about themselves. The more you do it, the easier it will get. So just breathe and breathe. Favourite ways to de-stress. If you'd asked me this a few years ago, I would have said The Sims, but now I've had to completely cut it out of my life. I don't know, I don't really de-stress. I like to have a bath, you know, get some bath bombs. I would just put my favourite music on, maybe light a candle, and just chillax. How do you keep organised? It's been said that I'm the most disorganised and organised person rolled into one. I have a lot of lists. I use this app called Trello and it allows you to make boards of different lists next to each other. So I've got all of my blog post ideas in categories, so fashion, personal, lifestyle, travel. You just need to find the system that works for you. And eventually, you know, you will improve. Ultimate superpower? I used to watch Charmed a lot, so I think being able to teleport would be quite useful because I'm always late and I just wish I could get to the place I need to be at that moment. Top 3 things I love to do. They're all kind of related. I love going to new areas and discovering like interesting shops or new places to eat. It's kind of all the things I blog about. My fashion inspirations / idols. I tend to look a lot at the bloggers and street style stars. So I really love Eleonora Carisi. She's Italian. She's very eccentric in her style. Favourite piece of home decor? I think it would have to be cushions. I have a lot of cushions. These are a few of my faves. I'm a bit of a crazy cushion lady. Where's my favourite place to shop for home decor items on a budget? I love H&M. I think they do some great like cushions, they do great trays, just those little knickknacks that really make a room. Even Primark, they've really upped their game. I went in there, I just went a bit crazy. I hadn't been into Primark for months and I was like, oh my god, they have homeware, I must buy it all. Even Etsy. I think it's great to look for these little prints. Like sometimes you just print them off yourself and you're only paying a couple of quid. So they're really nice little touches. Anthropology has amazing bits, but just buy one thing. So if you want something nice to display your jewellery in, they have bowls which are about £6 and they're really cool colours. It's all about combining high end and low end. So you'll probably have more low end, which is fine. It's just great to get a mix in there. Hopefully I've answered your question. If you've got anything else you want to ask me, just leave a comment down below. And I'd love to know something about yourself. Just tell me a random fact, like where are you from? I will see you in my next video. Bye!